Everybody's back here with bookcast number 2, and I am here with some lovely ladies. Lovely ladies, and no, they're not young. Okay, and so right now, we took a break to come into the kitchen and have some fruit from, let's say, Israel, Africa, and if you eat them, you'll become as young and beautiful as them. When they came in, they were really like these old, and then they started eating the fruit, and voila, I mean, come on, Cinderella, eat your heart out, right? Well, so what we were doing is, we wrote on here, on this piece of paper, Shannon, get over here. We wrote on this piece of paper some things that kind of keep us from our path to purpose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw out some things, and I'm going to invite different women to talk about how can you possibly overcome that, if they experienced it or how you've overcome it. So I'm just going to pull one. So one of the things that people say that stops them from their path to purpose is procrastination. Who wants to grab that?
Are we grabbing it if we had success, or if we grabbed it?
Yeah, how you can talk about if you had it and how you overcome it. Yeah. Go ahead. So if you've had procrastination and you've overcome it, maybe share that and.
Yeah, I haven't overcome it. I procrastinate, so I haven't overcome it.
Okay.
So I need to know how to.
Okay. Anyone's overcome procrastination? Come on, you definitely have.
Not really.
No?
No. Depends. Like, it depends if it's like housework. Yeah, I procrastinate.
Okay, but what about
Your purpose.
your purpose? Your purpose. And what do you feel? I mean, this wonderful lady right here, Kathleen, she is an author and she writes these wonderful, steamy romances. She also writes some books for young folks, so don't worry about that. So she's definitely not procrastinating in that area. Okay, so.
All right. Well, for writing, I just give myself a goal.
You zoom into her? I know, how many times?
I give myself a goal, and one of the things I try to do, it's actually National Novel Writing Month in November. And I write at least 50,000 words in 25 days, along with my job. And I just make it my priority to write after dinner and on weekends. And that's how I actually got a couple books done. And then, of course, it takes a long time to get it edited and published. But that was my just setting up a goal for myself. The housework has to take a second. And the housework or anything like that is second to that kind of thing. It's just that's what I love to do, and I force myself.
So it seems like what Kathy is saying is that when it's something that you really want to do, you have to plan to do it. And I've heard my pastor say one time that you have to plan for greatness. So just like you get up for work and you are diligent for getting there on time because you know you need that paycheck, right? So the same thing with your purpose, that you have to plan. So I would encourage you, and for anybody here that's procrastination, take time to really write it down. And there's something that says, there's not something there's saying that write the vision, make it plain. And they talk about it a lot of times in churches and the Bible, but if you don't write it down, it doesn't happen. And that's for me. One of the things, sometimes I won't write something down because I know once I write it down, I have to do it. And so Kathy says she makes a time. I got two things from what she said. She said that she plans it. And so she sets a time at home to do it. And then she finds a network of people to do it.
Yeah.
That's correct. On your own, sometimes you will fall, which is why I always try to outreach to such brilliant and wonderful ladies, because my goal is to stay young and beautiful. It takes a little while. Let me see. I'm not there yet with you.
Oh my God.
Maybe one day I will get there, but I'm trying to stay. I try to, stick with them so I can be, groovy too. So the key thing is to write it down. Write it down if you need to put it on a refrigerator or something like that. Ladies, I mean, really, whatever it is that you are doing, I want to see that next year. And some of us here, I already know what you've been talking about doing, and I've been there definitely to push you on. I'm definitely there. Let's see what else we hear that keeps us. Once again, we have someone says, finding the time and setting priorities. Who wants to talk about that? How priorities get into your way? And Kathy kind of addressed that, but anybody want to talk about that? Priorities getting in your way to do what you want to do. She's like, why are you looking at me? Because you're beautiful. You are so beautiful to me.
Oh boy.
Who wants to talk about that? Oh my gosh, these ladies are not shy. I mean, just before they got on air, they kind of gagged me and threw me in a closet. Okay, really? No, not really. I'm joking. Then, okay.
And we can't help.
Okay.
We need other people to.
Okay, so we can talk about that.
And
So,
we don't really know our purpose yet. We're not really, all may not be procrastinating.
Ah.
We just don't know how to find out what our purpose is. So you start doing things that might not be your purpose. And you waste time. And that's how I feel. Like I've never really known for myself. Because you know, when you do something, you know it's your purpose. Because everything starts coming together. Maybe not right away. But and it's not a struggle. It's usually not a struggle. Especially if it's God given. God gives you everything you need. And He has given us everything we need. But we had so many outside things, outside attractions, and in our lives to distract us. So that's my.
I'm about to cry with that. And the guys are already getting the music going in a minute. We got to go and sing it. There's a song they're playing. They're playing, oh, what's going on?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to sing that in a minute.
Yeah.
But, but I love that. I heard two things right now with the ladies, and they said, how do we talk about this if this is something that we're struggling with? And how do we know our purpose? And I want to share with you, and if you have other things, you can chime in. When it comes to purpose, once we're going to go back to writing a list, ladies, writing a list. And I'm going to challenge you, and I'm almost ready to cry because one of the things that I get together and I do the things is because I love people so much. I have like crushes on everybody. Yeah, I do. Not that funny stuff where, you know who you are. Don't be sending me that funny stuff. I mean, when I'm crushing on people, it's a godly crush. Trust me, ain't nothing going on. Ain't nothing going on but the rent. You know what? I keep looking at the wrong button. I'm always looking at the wrong button. There's the camera over here. Okay, but seriously, going back to when you're talking about your purpose, you need to write a list. I want you to write a list down, and you need to think about the things that you have found enjoyment when you were a young child. Any of you had things when you were young that you really, like your parents, that you always did all the time?
Cook.
Cook?
My
Okay.
mom always looked at me in the kitchen when my mother was cooking all the time.
And did you find that was something that was consistent as you got
I love
older?
to cook.
And you still love to
still
cook?
love to cook. Yeah,
Bam.
I love to cook.
Bam. So that's something that would go highlight for her. That's something that you would want to highlight on your cook. And there's things that you can do with it. Now, so once you put out cooking, you begin to flesh out upright cooking. Is it cooking? Do you enjoy cooking for occasions? Do you enjoy cooking to see other people happy?
Yes.
So that's a key right there. Right there, already that's an area. So you can say, someone can say, oh, go and do this. It's never going to work for you because cooking is your passion. So what I would encourage you to do is begin to list some places where you can cook for other people. Maybe there's a catering business that is set up for you. Start it small, catering event. Start off with a little menu. I saw someone post the other day, if you have an event, I can cook for you. Because you'll enjoy doing it, and as you enjoy it, and because when you enjoy doing it, you put that love in there.
Yeah.
Love.
You do.
There's power in the hips. No, because when you love it, people begin to enjoy it. Like me, as you can see, I love people and I love to talk.
Yeah.
I'm so animated, it's natural.
Yeah.
Because it's what I love to do, talk.
Lie about that.
I ain't lying. You hear that? My daughter told me the other day when she was on vacation. Then she said, Mom, you talking in your sleep. I said, really? What did I say? But I encourage you to start cooking. Cooking. Hi, oh, she's gorgeous, isn't she? Yes, she is. Yeah. So we would thank you. We were just having a talk before we go in the room about what are some things that keep us from
As soon as she walks in, she jumps up.
yeah. What are some things that keep us from our purpose of the path? And some people were saying discipline, fear of failure. Right now, we are talking about setting time and priorities. So our lovely Alice here was saying she likes to cook, and so that's where you want to start. Start there. And we talked about t-shirts and stuff. That might come on. That might be on a side
You know what
thing.
it is? It's not just cooking. When I fix food, I like to display it. Like, you know, some people just put food down, and then, even if it's just my family, I like to do the napkins, a tablecloth, or the candles, or even the bowl that I put food in.
Yes.
Like, I don't just like a regular bowl, especially if it's a holiday.
Yes.
So that's
Cooking. And what do you call that? What do they call those people that do
I don't know
that?
about that.
No, like caterers and stuff like that, and planners. Write those things on your list, and I want you to, and I'll help you flesh it out. Really, I will. I'll help you think this. Yes, I did do business coaching for years, and I charged $100 an hour, but because they're buying my book, they get it for free. So write that down. Even before you leave here, just jot those things down, and I'll help you flesh out there. From those things, then you can start having books about cooking recipes, about preparing. And because it's stuff that you're passionate about, it will go. I will help you with that. We'll throw a little spiritual thing on it, and we'll get it published for you. Seriously. Next person, come on. Come on, I'm hot. Really, I'm hot. All right, next person.
What's the question again?
It's like, what? Yeah, well, we put on that, but what is it? Some people said they don't know purpose. Who else doesn't know what they...
I don't know my purpose per se, but my feeling is my lack of discipline is preventing me from ever getting a glimpse of my purpose. Like, because I know everybody has a purpose in Christ.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Of course.
Everybody. But that's where, and I get a little bit of discipline and I go backwards, and,
So what have you identified as something that you've been passionate about since you were younger?
I can't think right now. I'm not keeping it from you. I can't think right now.
That's okay. I'm going to sap until I'm not ready.
Yeah.
You think about it. We'll come
Thank
back.
you.
Because I want to tell you that sometimes we can't get disciplined about it because it's really not something that we need to do. And it's true. When it's something like when I write a book and people say how long it is. When I did 2 short films, and Deanna she did cameras for me and everything. I wrote it in one day, and then I started editing. I sat down and it was tunnel vision. Nobody can stop me from doing that. And when it's something that was meant for me to birth, it comes out. I was working on some other project, and this book just came to me. I was talking to my uncle, and I was so inspired. I'm like, yes, I can pull for this. That I sat down and I wrote it. I wrote it within, I think, 1 or 2 days. Now, the editing process, going back, fleshing the characters out and doing that takes a little longer. But I was to get it down. Once I have it down, you can pull from it. And so the discipline will come once you identify that purpose. Yeah. No one will come. It's like when you're a parent and you have kids, Johnny's out of school. You learn to that. So I would say one of the reasons that it's hard to really dedicate the time is because we have to first find that thing. And like I said to her, I encourage you to go back. And I always say go back to your childhood, because it starts... We are already born with a purpose, with the things that God has called us to do, and it's already born in us. It's within our birth. And so what happens, we grow up, and as a parent, sometimes parents don't see that, and they just start doing a lot of stuff. With my kids, I always try to fine tune with what it is that they seem to, naturally, grasp to. And those are things I would try to get them lessons in, and I gave them other things as well. But write down that things that you love to do since you were younger. Write it down. And then see if it begins to fall into path. There's nothing wrong with doing that, and then later on say, but that's a starting point. And usually that's going to tap into it. Anybody else? Yes?
Yeah, I guess it's a couple of things for me, but...
Hey! Oh my gosh! Who's this new angel? I'm sorry, I got distracted. See? Come in, lady.
Sure. Hi.
Hi.
Congratulations.
This is Charlotte,
My granddaughter.
Well, tell them you're on the air right now.
This is Charlotte. And I'm Eileen. And we just wish you the best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
This is so
Thank you. It is. Right now we're talking about purpose, and we're going to talk a little bit more, and then we're going to break and have some music. But Kathy share with us. Go ahead, Kathy.
Okay, I guess one of the things I remember as young as she was is art, drawing pictures, painting, and I actually wrote a book when I was like 6 or 7 years old, which I don't know what happened to it, but I think that was like my earliest memory, and I was always dabbling with art. That's what I remember.
Wow, the art. And she's definitely doing the writing still. Do you do any of the illustrations and stuff for your
I'm
books?
not illustrating, but I'm taking art classes.
Okay, so that's a start. Because what you can do is with your books, and I know like you have your publisher and stuff like that, sometimes they like to pull in their own editors and illustrators, but I would encourage you to say this is a package and let them see if they can do something with that. And even maybe take some of the things that you're drawing and make them their own publication by itself. Okay. Listen, you guys, if you have questions, throw them in. We're going in the other room and we're going to continue to love on each other. And we got some music going on, yeah. And Eileen's going to say, okay, maybe not. But we'll be back to you later. Stay tuned.